Okay, so let's get on with some analysis of spoken features. This is a quick, probably about 10-15 minute video, just going through different spoken features that's useful for AS and A2 English whenever it's spoken data, like a transcript. So whatever you get, if it's spoken data, they'll always give you some sort of context. So here what we've got is a BBC Three programme, Don't Tell the Bride, you've maybe seen it. The idea is like the groom organises the whole wedding, or is it the best man, something like that, organises the whole the wedding, and without the bride knowing. So Mike is making plans for his wedding to Becky, and he's got his mates Rob and Jimmy with him. They're talking about the wedding. Mike and his fiancée Becky are actually both professional wrestlers. So let's have a look. So they're probably like having a toast or something. To Mike, Jimmy says, "Yeah, cheers, Mike." Rob goes, "Yeah, getting old, married and stuff." Now Mike has this bit where he talks about what he wants. So this is what I've got in my head. I want to incorporate a wrestling show into the wedding. I want loads of action with fire breathing and all sorts. I want ring girls with cards. I want it to be a big spectacle, a huge show. Rob says, "You've got some good plans, you've got some good plans." Jimmy says, "You've thought about it, which is the main thing." And Mike goes, "Yeah." Okay, so it's a little transcript. You won't get something this small, but let's have a think about the types of things that we can look at, what the spoken features that we can pick out. And you can do all your normal stuff, your grammar, your syntax, utterance types, utterance functions, word class, anything normal, but that you want some specific spoken terminology as well. So let's have a look. We're going to use green pen for like the more basic stuff. So the first thing we would look at when we're looking at conversation is the fact that we've got over here we've got basic sort of topic management, and turn taking. So we can talk about, look, they take their turn. Yeah, they're not interrupting and overlapping each other constantly. They're all sort of respecting each other's turn-taking rules. Okay. Another nice thing to do is just think. They give you stuff. They give you pauses. So think about that pause. Think about what that suggests. You can talk about pauses. Now they're going to give you some sort of prosodic features that are going to be shown in the transcript. So there's going to be things like here, and it'll tell you what it is in a little key. So that's like elongated sounds. So those elongating sounds, and it's pretty easy to go, I want loads of action with fire breathing. I want ring girls with cards. Like, it's just elongating the sounds for emphasis, and you don't really have to say much more than that. It sort of emphasizes what he's saying, makes it more dramatic, stuff like that. Okay. You can also talk about things here. I mean, look, you've got any sort of repetition. You've got some good plans. You've got good plans. Whereas over here, we've got repetition of I want. Now, one of the basic things you can do for spoken that you can't really do with other forms of English is you can just think about what's the purpose of that utterance. So here we could say that it's transactional. So that's a transactional thing. He's talking about the wedding he wants to organise, and his mates are going to help him organise it. This is what I want. I want this. I want that. So it's sorting something out. So it's transactional. Whereas the repetition here, good plans and good plans, is more like interactional. Yeah, so it's more like developing relationships. Now, clearly it's not a good plan. Clearly it's mental to have, a wedding with fire breathing and, ring girls with cards. I love this woman so much that I want to have ring girls, holding cards all the way through. So, it seems silly. And you can see actually how silly it is with Jimmy. Well, you've thought about it, which is the main thing, that sort of sarcastic tone that he's got there. Okay, so we've got some sort of basic stuff that we can have a look at there. You can also think about stuff like here, like topics, topic shifts. Who initiates the topic? Well, of course he's in charge, isn't he, Mike? Because it's his wedding and he's saying what he wants. So he starts that topic off. Okay, so that's the first sort of level of stuff that we do with your green pen there. Okay. Next sort of level, we're going to use purple pen, would be thinking a little bit more depth about structure. So we've got this idea here to Mike, yeah, getting all married and stuff. So you can just say that that's a basic adjacency pair. So adjacency pairs are like two speakers' utterances that go together. So often it's a question and answer, but here it's for support. Okay, we can talk about a really nice idea. If you look at this here, and you look at this here, just what it looks like on the page, his mates are speaking a similar amount, whereas he is speaking a lot. That's the type of thing that leads to a better discussion. So we can talk about MLU, and we can talk about MLU. So MLU is the mean length of utterance, how long a person speaks for, essentially. And obviously, because it's his wedding, he's speaking for longer. Okay? We've got this issue here, thing and yeah, which is the main thing. And Mike over the top goes, yeah, right, which is the main thing. So you can talk about, oh, well, it's an overlap or an interruption, but they've told you that. But you can also talk about this idea of back-channeling. Back-channeling, make sure I spell it right now. Back-channeling. So Back channeling is this idea of like supportively going yeah or like back channel noise, things like that, to support another speaker in their turn. Okay, so we've got MOU, adjacency pairs, back channeling, the organisation and structure of topics, stuff along those lines for the sort of mid-range stuff. And when you're getting onto the more advanced stuff, you want to sort of be thinking about any theories or concepts that you can apply here. So this is what I've got in my head. This is what I've got in my head. Right? The whole point of the program is the groom comes up with sort of crazy ideas for a wedding, and they all sort it out together, and then they get married without the bride knowing anything. So it sort of plays on that gender stereotype of, girls like weddings and blokes don't, So it's sort of reversing that stereotype. But what that means is that it's what we call this unequal encounter. The idea of the unequal encounter. It's something that is a really nice catch-all encounter sort of term we can use. I think it's Noel Flaircuff's idea, the unequal encounter, that not all speakers are created equal, not all speakers are in the same level of power. So what he's deciding is more important, so it's unequal, whereas there's an equal encounter between his mates, because they're sort of similarly listen to these ideas and going, this is crazy. Okay? Now, there's other things you can think about here. So, fire breathing, I want action, ring girls with cards, yeah. So, a great idea for a wedding is to have ring girls with cards and a wrestling show and fire breathing. But you can just talk about gender stereotypes or gender assumptions. So stuff like gender stereotypes, gender assumptions, and of course you could apply ideas like Lakoff's theories and things like that about what the stereotypical features of male speech. Okay, there's some other things as well. I mean, look at this. Well, you've thought about it, which is the main thing. Now, sort of a weaker response would go, oh, look, there's some sort of sarcasm there, isn't there? Some sarcasm. It's being sarcastic. It doesn't really mean that. Yeah, and that's fine because you're thinking about the underlying attitudes, but there's a couple of concepts we could apply here. Well, you've thought about it, which is the main thing. Now, in the one sense, that could be what we call positive politeness. Yeah, positive politeness, like building up the positive face of another participant. Yeah, like exactly the same way as going, cheers, making somebody feel good, oh, yeah, what a great idea, when in fact, you're thinking, this is crazy. But in an interesting way, that sort of could be seen to violate the maxim of quality. Now, it's only a could, and we don't really have enough evidence to go on here, but the idea of the maxim of quality, so Grice's maxims, there's 4 of them, I won't go into all of them now, but the idea that essentially in conversation, you're supposed to be telling the truth most of the time. Of course, that's violated very often when people have little white lies to make people feel good. So it could be positive politeness, when he really thinks it's a bad idea, but in fact that might be also violating the maxim of quality. Okay, and likewise here, good plans, it's interactional, but we could talk about, again, positive politeness, building up the positive face of Mike. Okay, so those ideas of trying to be nice to people. Okay, I mean, thank you and please, that's one thing, but also trying to build up somebody. Now on that idea, you could also therefore go, getting old, married and stuff. Now he's joking, but it could also be seen as a face-threatening act. Yeah, it could also be seen as a threat to Mike's position or undermining him some sort of way. Okay, so we put all that together, and here is one that I created earlier. Look at that, isn't that nice? Okay, so we've got the basic stuff in green, colloquial terms of address, pauses, the transactional interactional difference, interruptions, the sounds, the stuff that they give you, topic shifts and turn taking, stuff like that. Mid-range stuff, slightly more advanced, would be ideas of the sort of the purple ones here, sort of the MLU, the adjacency pairs, the back channeling, things like that. And then we've got the more advanced stuff, application of concepts, if you can, this sort of discussion of, is it positive politeness, is it violating the maxim of quality, possibly both, gender stereotyping, positive politeness, face-threatening acts, and then this idea that it's an unequal encounter. Okay, so put all that together, and here are the terms that we should be using. So the basic terms that I'd expect most students to know would be this idea of turn-taking, hedges, pauses, fillers, topic choice and topic shifts, who initiates a topic, who shifts topic. These 3 are very important: emphatic, transactional, interactional, any dialect features, we don't see any here, and then politeness in terms of address, or, this is a bit colloquial, a bit chatty, etc. Then you've got your mid-range stuff, face-threatening acts, back channeling, mean length of utterance, how long they speak for, adjacency pairs, are there some utterances that go together, courtesy items, please, thank you, stuff like that. And then advanced would be applications of theory, so face theory, positive and negative politeness, anything to do with gender, the unequal encounter. We haven't looked at Dixis, but, any references outside the text, and then if you really wanted to push yourself trying to remember those maxims of quantity, quality, relation, and manner. Okay, so that concludes our spoken language video.